closed on either side. I forced my eyes closed. Okay, Lazarus, you've zipped through walls before. You can do this. All you gotta do is think ghostly thoughts. What did ghosts think about anyway? Unfinished business? Boy, did I have a ton of that. The Reapers were almost on top of me when I opened my eyes and sped forward toward the brick wall. I winced, expecting to hit it again, but instead I popped through onto the other side. The building must have been a hotel because the trappings of an upscale hotel lobby were all around. Plush chairs, mahogany desk, fancy rug. The only thing missing was the people. Of course, the quarter was still a ghost town after the near apocalypse I'd died averting. It'd be a few weeks before things got back to normal. I sped through the lobby without stopping to admire the place and pushed through the wall on the other side. I came out in a mostly empty parking garage where another Reaper waited. He pushed off the pillar he was casually leaning against, don't ask me how since they were as ethereal as me, and spun his scythe. I huffed out a breath. Just how many of you assholes are there? As many as are required, he said. I blinked. You can talk? Of course. Now, if you'd be so kind as to stop running so I can reap your soul, I would certainly appreciate it. Sorry, pal. Not gonna happen. I prepped to push myself upward and into the upper level of the parking garage. I figured the worst thing that could happen was I went too far and wound up in the sun again. Then I could just dive into the next building and book it out of there. The Reapers would never stop hunting me, though. Not until I either found the missing pieces of my soul and got back into my body, or somehow convinced them that I really wasn't dead. Just as I was about to jump, a loud, screaming cry echoed through the parking garage. Leroy Jenkins! Another spirit came smashing through the wall like a blue bullet. I had a fraction of a second to recognize the cockeyed hat, the mustached lip, and the face of Jean Lafitte before he grabbed me and pulled me through the other wall and out into the sun. I curled up to protect myself as best I could, but the fire sparked on all the exposed flesh, ectoplasm. Who the hell knew what I was made of? We sailed over Dauphine and Burgundy streets at a speed well in excess of 100 miles an hour, the wind fanning the sprouting flames. "Jean!" I shouted. "I'm on fire!" "Fear not, my friend. We have but a short trip until you're safely within the confines of sacred ground." True to his word, Jean flew toward the gates of St. Louis No. 1 and dropped me just on the other side. The moment my feet touched the ground, the flames sizzled and went out. My ethereal form became more solid, almost flesh-like, for the first time since I'd shattered my soul. I ran my hands over my chest just to make sure all of me was still there, then collapsed with a huff of air, giving Jean a doubtful look. "Leroy Jenkins?" He hovered above me, hands folded behind his back. "I heard it on a television program. It seems to have some sort of cultural meaning. I assumed it was a cry of bravery for those charging into battle on behalf of their friends." Not exactly. More like the war cry of a bonehead running headlong toward inevitable defeat. "Oh." He lowered himself so that he was standing on the ground. The same phenomenon that had happened to me had also happened to him. His blue spiritual form changed into one of color and solid build. It was as close as I'd ever get to meet a live and breathing version of Jean Lafitte. Of course, he hadn't really ever died either. He lost his body when an Archon forced him out of it. The downside was that he was now a disembodied spirit, barely able to interact with the physical world. Upside? Eternal life. Jean wore a blue jacket with a bright red sash at his waist and a feathered cavalier's hat. His gruff facial features and large mustache made him look intimidating, but the truth was Jean was a bit of a coward sometimes. The thing he feared most was Reapers, which he'd always claimed were hunting him, though I'd never seen any evidence of that. After how the last few hours had gone for me, I'd never doubt him again. "How'd you know where to find me?" I asked. He crossed his arms. "The Reapers left me alone. I figured they'd either finally given up, unlikely, or they'd found more impressive game to hunt. Then I asked myself, what soul could be more worthwhile than mine? After all, they have been hunting me for 200 years. I went to see what the fuss was all about, and found you."